Hey Future Pros! Looks like we're back on Cobblestone today with a smoke that will block off the door to connector on A site. To throw this smoke, first aim at the middle window, then ignore it and then go to the left of this window. Aim at the corner of the roof, then walk forward and throw. Easy peasy and effective.
Welcome back to the Intel Esports Arena. Now we are on day number 2, week 2 of ESL Pro League Season 6. And we're actually moving into game number 2. This time round, it's going to be Astralis taking on Godsent. Now, gentlemen, we did just see an interesting one. Obviously, Hellraisers managing to take a game off a North. The bigger question is, can we see Godsent kind of do the same to a giant like Astralis and try and scratch a round off them?
Forgot to bring my coin, because we got to start flipping them. Every prediction I do nowadays is wrong.
Yeah, I mean, does it really make a difference, though, to be honest with you?
This is the thing, you know, we got to explain to the people at home that as an analyst, you just need to justify your rationale for why you predict a certain way. And then, when you're wrong, you give the reasons as to why you were wrong. It sets up a really good storyline. It really shows, you know, what our job's all about.
Listen, I thought you had a magic 8-ball and you just saw everything and that's how you make your predictions?
Normally. I'm an expert on every single round of Counter-Strike that goes
You can foresee everything.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, but seriously, without being too funny, this one obviously should be leaning in the favor of Astralis. We saw them be extremely clinical last night. They had a great display. They were looking well prepared. It looked like they had the fire in their belly from the loss, or at least the upsetting kind of result that they would have had at Malmo. They wouldn't have been happy with that because they're a team, you know, who's still vying for that #1 position in the world. I think it's not settled right now, even though it is SK technically by the rankings. For me, Astralis is still just in that position there to take that away, or, you know, steal that crown, because we haven't really had anybody in a dominant era yet. We're not back at that point. We don't have a standalone team who can say, hey, I'm #1.
Yeah, and you got to remember still, I mean, apart from this Malmo tournament, you had Astralis be at the top 4 every tournament with Glaive.
Yes.
So I think that's a testament on its own. And like you were saying, you know, they will have a lot of hunger coming from Malmo. You know, if North was maybe a little bit complacent, you know, empty tanks or whatnot, but Astralis, on the other hand, they have a lot to prove. You know, they must be really pissed off at how that tournament went for them. Very close to home turf, you know, high hopes, you know, building up that hype for them. Maybe that was one of the reasons why they run flat in the end.
Just a quick look back to kind of touch on DreamHack as such then. What happened to them? Obviously, I mean, you
Gambit
could say, is it the Gambit curse, or is it just a little bit of unlucky form?
The way that I'm looking at both these teams, SK and Astralis at the moment, but we'll stick with the Astralis one more so, is that personally, I think these teams are so good at the game right now that they just have got, not complacent, but the way that they feel they can approach every matchup is by playing reactive Counter-Strike. They have so much in the bank, they think they can pull it out whenever they need to. But my thing is that both of these squads have so many good players. You know, they have some of the best players in the world, that what they should be doing is going with their game plan first. They should be playing proactive as opposed to reactive, and then setting the pace, being dominant, dictating the flow of the game, and then from there reacting and changing the way they play as the map goes on. And if it doesn't work, their style, then that's sure, they can always go back to their reactive style. I just think at the moment, those two teams haven't been looking too much at what they want to do, just more at how they can react to what teams can throw at them.
I think specifically in that game against Gambit and Malmo, the big issue for me on Mirage, I think was the third map, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was the fact that...
it was a 2-0, wasn't it?
Was it?
It feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, it does. So many...
Yeah, it was 2-0.
Oh, yeah. Mirage was the second map then.
Yeah, it was quite convincing, the wins.
Exactly. So the thing for me was that Astralis they seem to have like this certain game plan in their mind going into that game, and ended up not working at all. And I think one of the factors is they're one of the teams that are really good at like reading their opposition, you know, making a lot of plans according to the tendencies of their opponent. And they really didn't have a lot to go by when it comes to Gambit.
Yeah.
And especially Fetch, who was playing lights out, he was having such a great baller of a game, making a lot of impact kills, reacting to situations accordingly, and he was on the top of the game all the time. So I feel like it was more from them, Astralis, that they didn't manage to actually adapt. They couldn't find a different pace of the game.
I think in that matchup specifically, the Mirage one, how active the guys from Gambit were when facing off against them. They were constantly making moves, finding information. There was that round with Adren, I think it was the first gun round, where he pushes Palace and gets those crazy 2 UMP kills. But from there, like, you know, Hobbit's constantly moving around. They're doing all these different kind of transitional plays to either get the information and have the stacks on the bomb sites, which they did time and time again, or, you know, hamper and really ruin any chance that the Astralis had for setting up strats. And in a 16-6 victory, they did that very well. And I think that's the most shocking thing, is not only has Gambit done it once, sure, we might all sit there and say, hey, you know, as any given Sunday thing, anyone can win a match of Counter-Strike, and Gambit stood up and they had a fantastic event at the Major. But for them to do it to Astralis again, it's a worrying sign in the sense of what direction do Astralis need to go? Do they need to readdress some things, and do they need to work on their fundamentals or have a bit more flair? And last night they just looked like it was... They looked really tight in their approach, and they played every situation as a team. You even saw when they were chasing down eco frags that they wouldn't go alone. They would wait for their teammates to come and collapse because they didn't want to give up guns. They didn't want to be sloppy. And for an online match to be doing stuff like that, that shows that they've definitely had a team talk. The discipline's back, and they're looking to gear up for this second half of the year.
Well, one thing, just to kind of go off on a bit of a tangent there, you know, you're talking about Gambit and this team, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is an MDL team. You know, they're in the Mountain Dew League playing away.
Yeah.
And if they kind
of... a major champion as well.
But this is what I mean. If they come up and they manage to make it into Pro League, I think this is what's good about the whole ecosystem of kind of, you know, fostering the teams, bringing them up into this high-ranking level. That's just a team that's kind of going to potentially come up in Season 7 and really do some damage.
Isn't it the weird thing with Mountain Dew League and Gambit especially is that it's super competitive at that level for some, like, yeah. I'm not saying that the Pro League isn't super competitive, but there's so many teams who are putting in the hours to Counter-Strat and are playing so much more Counter-Strike, whereas these top teams, they travel a lot, they have to focus on mainly Tier 1 opponents and Counter-Stratting for that, whereas in the Tier 2, it kind of gets really messy because you have to worry about the Tier 3 guys nipping at your heels, you're worrying about beating the big dogs who are up the top there, and then you've even got the middle people who you're always vying with to get the qualifiers, like a DreamHack Montreal, where it was Space Soldiers versus Hellraisers. Space Soldiers end up winning that grand final. There's so much competition in that Mountain Dew League, it's hard to predict who's going to make it. Yeah. And even if you do come first, then you second and third get to play from relegation, and it's super competitive. Now we've got Virtus Pro down there again. If they can gear up, they can look good for this season. Then come the end of the year, it's going to get real tricky.
Could be very interesting. But we'll talk about this match a little bit more. Now, we look on the opposing side. We obviously talk a lot about Astralis. When we look at Godsent, though, so far, they've played 3 matches. They've managed to scrape a map out of every single match so far. They've taken 1 from Mouseport, they've taken 1 from Heroic, they've taken 1 from MBS. So certainly, you know, there is signs of life there. They're doing quite well.
That's Swedish Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Quality is always wants to be a factor. Even though we talked about this yesterday, how, you know, it's a bit of the leftovers of their scene and whatnot, but still now they have a leader in town. Freddie B has joined the ranks of Godsent. When you have players like Twist, you have Disco Dopplan, you have Dennis. Who's the last guy I'm forgetting?
Twist, Disco Dopplan, Dennis, Freddie B, and the man himself. Let me have a look, because I forget as well. Schneider. Yeah, no wonder we forget, because he hasn't really done anything since winning the Major all the way back there in 2013.
But yeah, still, I mean, they have some really quality pieces there, but I think, you know, what was lackluster from the previous Godsent version where Pronax was leading, it was too much about individuals being able to be innovative, being able to react in place a lot, and it just didn't work at all, did it? You need to find a better structure for this type of a team. You need to have some really good set plays. You need to find the right pacing. And that way is the one way that I feel like they can come back at it and have some kind of impact in the scene. Yeah. Also, it was a little lackluster yesterday on Train. You know, too many defaults. Too many times that we see them just send 3 alley, 1 play team main, 1 go top a ladder. You know, they try to make a play, try to make a mad match, and then just ram a bomb side. But instead, you know, you want to see them have more decisive, precise type of plays, which they then showed on Cash. That's where they actually seemed like they had practiced, and they have a lot more going for themselves.
Yeah, some good decision-making. They definitely played as a team, right? They were doing a lot of pounces onto bomb sites. They were pop-flashing through the B smoke and really swarming there, doing the same thing over towards A. And when they were playing as a unit, they were just trading out, which is the fundamentals, especially when you add a new in-game leader, that you want to see. It just shows that you're playing for each other. No one's baiting. When the call's made, everybody's going in and they understand spacing, which is something which, if you can have that happen organically as opposed to forced, that's perfect. That's what you want. And then you can actually, if it is organic, point out, hey, guys, this is what we're doing well. That's something that we've definitely got in our back pocket. We can build on this. And now that they've got Freddie, I'm assuming every day, I'm pretty sure as well they're doing a boot camp at the moment because they're going to try and accelerate this process. When you add a new in-game leader, when you add a new player in general, a boot camp like this can kind of cheat you through, you know, The honeymoon period is always a positive, but I mean, it can cheat you through the sense of, hey, we have to relearn like spot names or teach the new guy what we call things, or setting up the structure for a T side is much easier to do in person when you can all sit around one screen. You know that everyone's focused. You know someone's not alt-tabbing on Facebook, checking out Instagram, looking at all those lovely models. They're actually listening to what you as the in-game leader is saying. I wish I was more of an enforcer, mate, but geez. Some rough times back as an in-game leader.
You just kind of called it out there, didn't you? You just saw what was going on.
It was rough times, dark days. You've probably been there as well.
Wait, we all have.
Yeah, these bloody children. Anyway, I know that Messioso's there. He'll be behind them. He'll be making sure everyone's getting the right job done. And I think the Betway odds that we saw come up like heavily favor Astralis, right? But I don't know if that can be the case on Mirage in the sense of I think this map can get really scrappy, and it definitely favors teams who like to do the pounces. If you can set up like the default sense where you get to mid control, and then you have you force the CTs to play heavy middle, and you do like a pop flash strat over to A, you can swarm the bomb site, use your utility properly, give them a really rough time. I don't think it's as clear cut in the sense of you know, we're going to say Astralis are the favourites, for sure. You have to. It's hard to bank against them. But Godsent showed promise last night, and Freddie B looks like he's slotting into the team quite nicely.
Yeah, no, they just need some more time. Obviously, it's just only been, I don't even know how long they've been able to practice with him.
Well, he's officially joined 2 days ago, but I think it's been a done deal for some time.
Right. So let's assume they practiced for a couple of weeks. Very, very short period of time for a team to get, 6, 7 maps nailed. You know, that's never going to happen, is it? So you will see a lot of variance in the way they perform in different maps, even on the same map, different day. If they don't get the flow right, if they don't get win the right rounds, and they struggle, they will probably not have a plan B, C, D, and E, and so forth, right? Mm-hmm. So still, it's so early days for them, so it's super tough to see them have a lot going here against Astralis, who I feel like is a team that looks at the big picture. They look at the long term. They don't really care. Obviously, they care. They didn't do well in Malmö, but in the big picture, they will have the measures to get the focus back and start to get things going better.
Well, the game is starting, gents. So without further ado, it's over to Panzer and YNK. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yes, Astralis against Godsent. These two teams, I guess, in different positions right now. I don't know quite where to put Godsent.
Astralis on the top, Godsent at the bottom.
Yeah, that'll do. All right,
maybe
fair
not.
enough.
Maybe not as high up as Astralis. Maybe not in the stars anymore right now. They're somewhere in the atmosphere, fallen a bit down, taken down by Gambit. But focus on this game. Godsent starting on the T side. 2 smokes up. Have 2 players down in underpass. This is going to be smokes for stairs and connector, and then they're going to backstab them. Actually, not for connector.
Yeah, I'm curious if Device times this right as well, unless there's a booster window that could pressure him, and there is. Okay, nicely done by Device. They've seemingly read this quite well. Yeah, he just gets jumped on by Twist, however, just leaping through. But the mid kind of crunch has already worked out. That means that Astralis can play retake now if they don't find too many individual fights that could pressure them. Twist is trying to do it, though. You can see him being that real nuisance for the playback coming in. Keeping a couple of players busy. Device still flashed up. He goes for it and he gets it. Good work from Twist. Trying to keep this one going Godsent's way, and they still have players set up for this plant as well. Freddie B playing on ramp, and Twist again being unleashed here. This is brilliant stuff from this young man. As Dupree now left in an awkward predicament. Players literally left, right, and center. And yeah, you're not getting past Twist. Apparently this is his round. 4 kills. He wants the ace as well. Dupree is now the meat in the middle of that sandwich, and Twist takes a bite.
That helps. But I think it's like the setup is obvious, right? You want to throw the smokes and then have 2 players from underpass, backstab them, while everyone's thinking it's just the default execute. Throw the smokes, plant the bomb, maybe push CT. That's the most common thing. And it didn't really work out as well as intended. Twist was, caught out a little bit there by himself, but it seems like Astralis wasn't really aware that he was there, and he managed to make a huge play. If he gets just 1 kill and dies, then Astralis probably executes the retake without too much difficulty. But Twist with a huge round, and got sent up 1-0.
Yeah, good start for these guys. I'm kind of being perpetually impressed with them so far. The games yesterday were good. Definitely turned up. Freddie B's putting up numbers. It was Dennis who didn't quite get my attention. I want to see more from him. He's one of the, he's the veteran player almost on this side, if you want to take away Schneider, or at least someone who consistently held that very high tier form. So I want to look at Dennis to really get going in this, and Dupree's Deagle going to come through. That's going to be the head of Schneider rolling.
This is a very bad anti-force by round, Lauren, has to be said. Everyone is spread around so much. You're allowing the CTs to find duels. What is this? Why are you walking through a smoke? Twist, can he do something again? Second consecutive round?
God, this is, you
He
know,
will have to
literally,
if they're to win this round.
it's a video of what not to do in these sort of rounds. It's just classic. dupree's going on the long way. So now Kiebi and Zipnix just need to stay alive as long as possible. Don't take too many massive risks, but Disco Doppler just gets him through the smoke. Nothing to be done about that. Maybe just try and stay into that little cubby, but you can't really do much around that situation. But will they expect dupreeh here so fast? dupreeh's going to be given a little bit of time to work with, coming out of ramp right about now. Disco Doppler going to go right back towards default on site, maybe play out Dark or the Goblin boxes, as our dearest friend Sponge likes to say, but it was already going to be found by dupreeh. He's not letting him get away with it. It's on Twist, the bit of a miracle maker from the first round, but the second not going to find it, and yeah, an absolute disaster there.
All right,
coming
so
out.
this is going to take a while, but why you don't
Yanko.
want to go for something like this is, sure, like, you want to go for map information, you want to figure out what the CTs are doing, but CTs are almost never going to stack when they force buy in the second round. Teams just don't do that yet, even when perhaps they should. So you are allowing yourself to get picked off by the one dig from dupreeh. You know, that's not a lucky shot. He's very good with the deagle. If he can just single you out, it's not impossible for him to get that kill. Then you have Freddy B walking through the smoke, I'm just going to gamble that no one is on the other side of this smoke. Yes, you're in a 4v5, but you still have the weapon and utility advantage. If you group up, you can still win the round. He falls, and then it's just 1-by-1 from Godsent. I mean, it wasn't even that difficult of a round for Astralis to win.
No, it really wasn't. Glaive there was so flash during that. It was a really nice idea from Godsent to try and get the plant from this. But I do want to bring up the fact that this also could be Freddy B's, not necessarily in-game leading problems, but he's used to in-game leading against far lesser teams that won't punish as much, right? He was in-game leader for Epsilon. A lot of talent on the team, but playing against teams of like tier 3, tier 2, at that sort of marker, very rarely pushing above that. Now, obviously he's a very good player, very good in-game leader, but you will get punished so much more thoroughly for even the smallest of mistakes, and anything like that, Astralis will pick up on and run away with. And to be fair, looking at Astralis yesterday against NIP, they brought a very good brand of CS. Especially on Inferno, the way they're playing out these rounds, they're not getting caught down. Mid-round aggression and mid-aggression, should I say. We've got Zipnix and Glaive going up for a walk. Good flash, Disco Doppler completely blind. We didn't get to see it, but, well, neither did he either. So Godsent now falling back to this A-hit. Kiebi's already playing incredibly passive towards CT. He does get found by Freddy B, so that's a good start, but Zipnix stops it before it spirals. The bomb's now loose on site, and Godsent needs to try and make it across, and, well, Glaive and Zipnix just taking turns. Twist again, put up to the last man challenge, but it might be a little bit too far as Device works his way around. And again, Astralis, just bring the hammer down.
Absolutely. With the initiative early on, aware that Godsent is not going to have a great buy themselves. There's not going to be an op that's going to hold mid passively and can punish them for that aggression. So just going all the way in, exerting dominance from very early on, and it's back to equal for Godsent. You can see how things turn so quickly. From winning pistol round, you're now going to be down 4-1 in a matter of 3 minutes or so.
Yep.
And more aggression from the CTs. And this is going to be interesting to see how does Astralis play the next gun round, because they've been very aggressive in the previous gun round and in the anti-eco. So is this just them trying to force a reaction from Godsent, or are they going to go for something aggressive the next gun round as well? Obviously, probably not towards mid, but maybe towards B-apps, a teammate throwing that deep smoke for the B-apps guy, or maybe a two-player contact play towards A-apps, something along those lines. There are a lot of options on Mirage when it comes to aggression.
Oh, they are trying to really make a point about this. Now, they have given over a rifle to Dennis, but still a big challenge to be able to put it to use here at this point.
It's very unnecessary from Device. I mean, 5v2, why are you pushing down ramp? What do you hope to find? I mean,
Yeah.
300 more bucks, another kill on the scoreboard, 2 more points for Devon, not to be.
No.
As we're now just waiting for this round to be over.
Pretty much, 38 seconds. I don't know what Godsent can hope for here. You know, you're praying for miracles, or maybe Disco Doppler just hit, you know, that one dig, and maybe there's a chance, but then you've always got a fullback. And there's the one dig, but the fullback should be Glaive, and there it is. Kicks into gear, but he should be able to get past Dennis, and he does. Good work from Glaive to hold his own, but it got a little worrying there when that one dig came out. That's just all you're hoping for, but still. Money's still decent enough for Astralis. This is the interesting round, however. What do they do now they've got everything they need? To a degree, at least on Godsent. Do they now have to be hyper careful of Astralis being aggressive? Do Astralis bring out more aggression? How do they utilize that open device? So many things to look at.
Twist has a good spawn, so he doesn't go for... Oh, he actually, yeah, so this is what they do, expecting more aggression. But this is where Astralis now will have the advantage in the round from this point on, because they're not doing anything, and the time is just ticking. So they don't need to use their smokes pretty much. Perhaps towards A, because Godsent can be setting up for an A hit or a B hit with all their utility, but that's something that you can play against as well because of the utility that Astralis possesses. So this is now just the clock ticking because Godsent was expecting aggression. There was none, and now they have a lot less time to work with here.
Yeah, they're down to a minute. They do have all their smoke still up. And no one's really given them much here. Astralis are being very quiet about how they want to play this through at the moment.
What you're seeing right now is usually what happens 40 seconds prior. So, again, it's going to be very difficult for Godsent, especially with, you know, how new of a team they are, to execute a proper split or a proper hit on the bomb site with a limited amount of time.
It should be very impressive if they pull it off well. I don't. It looks like they're confused as to where they're going. Disco Doppler's fallen back. They've got 3 players in middle and they're making no ground. Kiebi's getting bored. He's going for what he can and he's going to find it too. Freddie B goes down now. You've got 37 seconds. You've got no step towards the sites. You've lost your presence on the extremities. Schneider's still trying to watch for the A push, but it's getting very late. They need to start making a move.
Lauren, just save. Trust me.
Is it save time?
It's better if you save in this round, I swear.
I don't think you're wrong. I think they just don't realize it yet. And Device certainly knows it. Glaive gets played in off the back of Device taking the attention, and as you said, might just be worthwhile taking a save unless one of these players can go God tier, and it's not going to happen with 9 seconds left. Keep the AWP twist. What are you doing? Zipnik's going to find that for free, and Kiebi working his way around the back lines. This was a lesson for Godsent, I guess, and one that they kind of put themselves in.
It's a very cool play from Astralis. You could see it, you know, unfolding itself from the very start. The aggression that they had previously forces Godsent into a more passive setup, and then once they actually go for the smokes middle, Astralis throws counter smokes, they throw counter flashes, they buy more time. That forces more players of Godsent to rotate back to mid, and at 30 seconds they were nowhere near a bomb site. That's why I said, you know, it's a 4v5. There's no way they were going to even get the bomb down. So the best call was to save. I mean, you're not ever probably going to make that call, but because of how the round went, you are just going to get destroyed.
Look at this. Glaive just straight up in middle, having a great time.
But this is another time. Now they're going to go for a B execute with pistols, so this can work. It can always get a little bit chaotic with these set pieces, smokes everywhere, flashes, people running in with pistols. So let's see if Zipex is ready for it.
Looks like he's got a plan. It falls back to the back pillar. Nice smokes towards the site, actually. It's going to put Dupree as the kind of first man on point, and that's a bit uncomfortable. There's so many different angles, so many different layers, and he does get overwhelmed. Good work from Godsent to get the kills and the plant more imperatively. Still 2 players up. Twist also has a rifle, but it's Dennis with a kill with the CZ. It is still Dennis. It is still a pistol. You can always put some sort of presence of mind there, but Twist, 28 HP. He's got the rifle. He's got the AK. He's got the one shot towards Device. He needs one more, though. Time ticking now against Kiebi. He's going to make the move. He does have the kit. He does have a smoke. It goes in, and it's a game of chicken. And, well, don't play chicken with a fox, because Kiebi is there. He takes the fight, and he will have the defuse.
As we said, very chaotic, close round for Godsent. Yeah. Twist maybe should have reloaded there, but yeah, wouldn't probably help him much. It was a great shot from Kirby to close out the round. And now it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because Godsent here is, okay, they go for double up. I was going to say maybe go for some sort of a set piece, you know, because they can't deal with the default play style that they're trying to run, but they're going for even more picks now towards the B bomb side. That's their answer.
I'm actually excited to see Dupree on the secondary op, because this was something we were discussing last season, because I talked to him before and I like this boost too.
Sick.
It's really good for that. The deep pick, it's so nice for it. It's brilliant. Now, actually, to be fair to Godsent, they've responded really well across the rest of the map. They've been able to find kills. That's going to put Kiebi in a really uncomfortable spot. He needs to win that fight against Schneider if they want to stand a chance, and he hasn't. Again, you know, it's all good and well to get that really nice move towards B, but if you're not going to get the rest of the map going your way, it's going to put a lot of pressure on this man who's so far found 2, and I'm wondering if he's feeling like he wants to go for more. He doesn't have that much money in the bank, and that AWP is pretty expensive, and you've got 3 players in front of you. I don't know how much he can do here, if that's even an option in his mind. But yeah, as said, I'm looking forward to seeing what Dupree can do, because I remember talking to him last season. It's like he wanted to do it around that mark. He was, you know, considering the idea, but it's good to see it finally implemented now.
Yes, even I remember it. Him talking on occasion. We were like, Dupree, you're not an AWPer. Calm down. Like, you know, just rifle. But this was maybe Astralis trying to do a bit too much. Then again, they were already aggressive towards ramp. So after Dupree got the kill, it's not that easy to just fall back from that area, but it looked like they wanted to push it for more, and that was a mistake. So they got the good call. I mean, Dupree with the boost, they were expecting an AWP to try and get that pick. But again, trying to do a bit too much in just one round. So obviously still a big advantage for them. The money situation is looking good, at least for this buy. And now this is the danger out for Godsent, right? They win the one round, but now it's reset territory to an extent. So it's always about winning those consecutive rounds when you're down, you know, 6-1, 5-0, 4-0, whatever. It's always about winning 2 rounds consecutively so you can get control of the economy.
Double up T side, Dennis and Twist on that. I don't know what to say about it already. You can see Disco Doppler going down. So many early advantage being made here by Astralis and their aggression in middle.
Sick play, Glaive flashing in for Kirby there, but Dennis does manage to get the refrag from mid.
We do have the AWP on short as well, that being Dupree. He'll find his target. That's going to be Freddie B going down. Now, again, Godsent now suffering. They don't have much step towards sites. They don't really have much map control. They've lost out on numbers here. And you're down to 2 AWPs left, so they need picks. They need Astralis to overextend. And, well, there's 1 strike, but an instant trade. Again, you can't get anything for free, it seems. But Schneider and Dennis can still group and maybe make something out of this. They can maybe make something happen. But Glaive, he wants it to stop before it starts. The Molotov still burns. He might just be waiting out the time. And here it comes. He does decide to strike. Good work on the first. Will he get challenged by the second? Just above him is Dennis, pistol in hand, and we know what he can do. The work comes in. He gets it done. Time to run now as well. Bomb in hand, but Dupree should deny this out the window. No, just baits it out. Baits out the shot too. Dupree goes to the deagle. Molotov towards the side. He knows he's trying to buy time here. Dennis now goes for the pressure. This is smart from Dennis, but it's a better deagle coming out from Dupree.
And a great round again from Astralis. Those small plays, Kirby in underpass, Glaive flashing for him. Compare this to the North game, right? And what we saw from them on both maps on the CT side. We saw players isolated, you know, just by themselves, no teammate support. And this is way better from Astralis. You know, you take risks, calculated risks, right? You focus more on mid/underpass. You're playing passive towards A, then you can retake it later on. And they win the very important round. Godsent go back into the force. But they don't have a single nade, Lauren.
Oh, this could be horrible. Glaive watching, eagle-eyed, and you've got Device even chiming in as well. It's like you don't get a clean 1v1 fight. There's always someone there for Astralis. The duos are really locked in on it. You can see Kirby going to put down Disco Doppler and Dupree keeping keen eyes towards middle.
The only way Godsent wins that round is either if they catch someone on a nade, or if Astralis is like pushing mid again and they only have 1 player on A and they get the trade kill, which is a huge risk. Why do you have a Galil? I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Dennis. Why do you have a Galil? Why don't you have a CZ and all the nades, or a UMP and all the nades? At least a pop flash. Anything. Like, this is just a full-on dry contact play. Even if you get the entry into the bomb site without utility, you're never going to be able to hold it. It's going to happen 1 in, you know, every 20 rounds or so.
Yeah, this does feel more like a scoreline we kind of expected to see between these teams. I want to see a little bit more from Godsent, if I'm honest, just because of yesterday. They showed really well.
That's what we were talking about on the desk yesterday. You know, you don't expect Godsent to win games. They even managed to win one yesterday. You just want to see a change in trend, right? We saw it from Fnatic early on in the league. They looked much better, much more coordinated, right? And even if they don't get the wins, that gives you hope for the future. Once they get some more time to practice with the new lineup, you can see that the potential is there. Granted, Godsent had even less time to practice, but you don't see anything from them, you know? And that's where it doesn't matter which players you have on the team. FaZe cannot play this type of Counter-Strike. They have the most kill lineup in the world probably right now. They cannot make this type of Counter-Strike work. No one can. The game has just, the meta game has evolved so much. So you need to be able to do more.
What's Schneider and Dennis up to? Are they doing the mid smokes? I'm kind of curious which ones they just did, 'cause both of them were doing it from spawn. So I can imagine there's obviously the window one, but the second, it might be a deep short one I think you can do as well. So that's a really nice quick mid-piece possibly coming through. And we'll see how Astralis respond, because they should know it's coming now they've seen these smokes.
They do it themselves all the time.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. So again, this is something that they're probably aware of, and how do you kind of greet this? Okay, Godsent do actually have mid-control for once, but it's now, where do you go from here? You're down to one smoke, one nade, and a flash and a decoy. You need some of that aim to kick in. Schneider's going to find Dupree, but there's Device instantly replying. So Kiebi as well, holding down towards Ace in an awkward spot, though. It's hard to make really work against someone who's going to check on it, but Glaive as well, hyper aware that there is going to be that mid pressure. It might come through window, they could be up on shore, in towards ladder room, and Device looking to alleviate some of that pressure.
Bit of a standoff here, twist and sandwich, waiting for someone to expose themselves. Glaive also in window room. It's very awkward positioning for both teams right now.
Who breaks first? Godsent is starting to really look towards A. Now Kiebi is just waiting. He's waiting as long as he can until he has to play out of this. Twist already getting CT control, but gets denied it quickly by Device. Maybe a little unawares. He could have been there. But here's the man that can just destroy it all. Kiebi comes around from the boxes. Dennis and Freddie B go down. No one checks on it, and he gets away with murder.
And it's very important, you know, Device could just die there and people would be like, oh, Kirby, you just baited him, blah, blah, blah. But I'm sure Kirby communicated his position, and at the end of the day you can see it on the radar. And that's where, if you're Device, it's your mistake if you get caught off guard by a player being that deep, right? You have to know that that's a possibility. It's unlikely that it's going to happen, but it's possible, and it seemed like he was aware of it, managed to get the kill, and then Kirby from that sneaky little position manages to close out the round for Astralis. They're playing so well. I said it was a very awkward position for both teams, but Astralis managed to come out on top, and that's why that double smoke thing is so powerful. You can get into connector fairly quickly, and you can also push through the smoke on Cat. You can, you know, get a player into window room. There are so many different things that can happen, and the CTs, to an extent, have to account for all of them. If they're not making a push of their own on a different side of the map, they need to play it in a way where they don't get caught off guard by any of those moves, which is way more difficult than it perhaps sounds.
Yeah, and right now,
this helps.
Kirby again, straight up middle,
Bang.
Great flashes in, and the second one came through a little awkward timing on that, but still, got the information, got the job done. Now it's down to Glaive and maybe Dupree to keep tabs on the middle push. Now Dupree's doing really well, he's just being solid through from short, good work with him, nothing flashy, nothing crazy yet, but now it's on A, it's on Glaive. Once that smoke goes, Dennis ain't far away, the spray comes in, he didn't get the kill, the X-ray just went off, do not worry, but there's the support again, it's Device in the back lines, the AWPs come true, and I've got to say, Astralis are playing great CS, and we saw it yesterday against NIP, and this doesn't look like the normal CS you see in online games, because normally it's pretty lackluster, it's quite, you know, it's not switched on, not sharp. They're just going through the motions here, and good ones at that.
What I want to see is, I want to see Astralis lose second pistol, lose the fours, be down like 4-0, and the T's have enough money, and then Astralis plays the CT side against the T side against this type of a style, like a double op or something, because they will give you the best example of how you fight that setup. You have to use a lot of utility, a lot of set pieces, but your time to talk, Lauren.
Yeah, because this could get exciting here. Device again, great positioning. The Molotov doing well for Xyp9x. He did as best he can to keep them in place and allow Device more and more opportunities to bring the pain. And this is just disgraceful to watch. I don't think this should even be allowed on Twitch TV or YouTube for that matter. I just don't know what these guys can do at this point. Astralis just absolutely destroying them.
Yeah, and that's why, like, Godsent is making it easy for them with the things they're doing towards the later part of the half, right? In the beginning, it was Astralis making all the plays and making all the moves, but when we get into the second half, Lauren, I'll go a bit more in depth about it.
Yeah, right now, there's not much more to be said. This has been a bit of a one-man band, and that band has been all Astralis. Godsent barely scratching the surface, just 2 rounds beside them. We're hoping there's more to be seen in the second half. It seems as though Astralis are coming into this season of the Pro League with a bit of a chip on the shoulder. I don't know what it is what's making them play like this, but they are taking no prisoners here.
Maybe not qualifying for the last season finals.
That could be very, very reasonable.
Yes, but it seems like Mirage has become one of their stronger maps, despite their more or less convincing loss, actually, against Gambit. Did feel like Gambit really played out of their minds, but pistol round, getting some action very early on. Freddy B, a lot of work ahead for the new addition.
Somewhat similar to what we saw, in a way, from what Godsent tried to do. It does seem as though Astralis will be getting into the site, probably going to get that bomb down. I don't think anyone can stop it right now. No, they can't. So it's a 4v4 Autoplant. We know that Astralis like to push through jungle once they get this control. They'll try and split through a little bit. We've got Device doing that. Glaive's not far off either. Xyp9x over by Ramp and Dupree by Palace. And well, Godsent are just charging right in towards the site here. Device going in. Dupree's going to find one as well. And, well, it's just Disco Doppler left alive. Dupree wanted the knife as well, didn't he? He wants to prove a point. He wants to get some more cash. But so far, Astralis just off to a flying start.
It was actually the exact same pistol. There just wasn't any smoke towards CT, and it's very important, even if you take the site, to get some extra control, whether it's going to be connector, jungle, or CT, because otherwise it's, you know, relatively easy for the CTs to flush you out. There are not that many places where you can hide, and that's why you see teams go for these plays down underpass and so forth. And it worked out for Astralis. They didn't even need anyone to get that ace.
Oh. And Device already going to find Schneider. Good work from Freddy B, though, to catch Kiebi out. So that's a gun he can pick up there and maybe able to do something with. If Device pushes this, Device is even lower. He's got 7 HP. You don't want to give up that rifle, but...
They already got the B bomb site.
Yeah.
After Snyder died, just go for that push. But Dennis is on the flank. Can he get the headshot? No, but he sees the bomb. So, a bit weird. Device on the long flank, but Dupree just... the BDPs.
Yeah, anyone got him in their fantasy teams?
No. I went for Optic players because they play 3 games. And
they're doing really well in North America, yeah.
Who else do I have? I have Scream. And I actually have Device. How's he doing? God damn it. I mean, it's alright.
It's fine.
It's like, it's not impressive, but it's alright.
But wins are wins.
Dupree has gotten, I think, the most points yesterday and today so far, but doesn't matter. Should probably still be on top.
Look, you should just always get Dupree in your fantasy teams, alright? It's just too good. Tried to get him to come out for beers and, you know, come out for maybe a meal while we're over here in Copenhagen. Nah, at practice all day.
Listen, I can't even get Anders to come here. I mean, we're in the same company, for Christ's sake.
15-2, though. You blink and you miss it. Astralis, they're not messing around this season. This is just... brutal, if I'm honest. And speaking of brutal, Dennis goes sliding in. UMP to the face for Kiebi, but Device is right there. There's nothing without an answer, it seems, but 5-7's going to come through, and maybe there's a little bit of life left in Godsent. Maybe not, as Glaive's in a really, really filthy spot, depending on the timing, and it works Twist's way rather than his. So, goes down to Dupree and Xyp9x. Dupree towards Ladderum. You've got Xyp9x trying to get towards B, and he's actually got a bit of time on this too. He might be able to get the bomb plant, maybe not.
Unlucky.
Yeah, and now we'll see what he can do with this. He's going to try and smoke off towards the kitchen side of the door. Plant on the default spot, but they could push. They don't know that Dupree's not watching this, to be fair, but there was a second where it could have gone a bit deadly, and now Freddy B is very close by. Xyp9x puts him down now. Again, 2v3. Dupree's still holding on short. They don't know he's there. They have no idea about this, but good flash, and they check on it. No chance there for him. It's on Xyp9x now. Pushing in towards kitchen. He's being so proactive. This could catch him off. This could be a problem. He strikes from behind. Now there's a Molotov on him as well. He's going to try and time it right, put it towards the site, and the clock is ticking. No kit on Twist, it's on Dennis, but the clock, as said, ticks further and further, and the clutch master Xyp9x is certainly there. He will be put down by Twist, but with that clock ticking so fast, Dennis has to be there very swiftly, but he does get the job done.
Well, I guess Godsent for the last round decided, let's just hope they go away, and we'll send 5 players there in case that happens. Astralis do lose personnel, switch towards the B bomb site, and Dupree couldn't make anything happen from the ladder room. I think he got into a duel with someone and they knew he was there. That's why the pop flash came in. So Astralis, they go for a half buy actually. They don't fully invest into this round, but still enough to possibly win with a couple of good shots.
There's only Freddy B at A right now. It's unlikely they'll be able to find out.
There's also decoy though, Lauren. The decoy is going to fool them all.
the MVP of the decoy. It's not worked well so far. One deagle shot comes out. Freddy's being toyed with and he knows it, but calls for that smoke to come in towards Palace, so he's okay. The rest of Astralis are just looking for opportunities more than anything. They could fall back to a hit if they've got one in mind. They've got 2 smokes, one on Glaive, one on Zipnik, so there's opportunity there, but they've just lost out on Dupree, who was over by the B apartments, and again losing out in middle. So being worked away here, Godsent starting to regain some control of these rounds, or at least for now.
True, they were just hoping for someone to overextend, potentially get a few kills, maybe pick up a rifle and work from there. But all of the plays they went for were put to a stop by Godsent. And the AWP on Dennis. So looking at the money situation, Astralis can buy. It's not going to be great. I would rather, if they went for another half buy, get pistols, get utility, and go maybe for an execute with smokes towards A. They have a couple of really cool ones. But we see Dupree already fully investing. Glaive just buying a pistol, some people buying AKs. It's all over the place right now for Astralis, but this execute can still work for them. Oh, Dupree didn't throw the smoke straight away. Hate to see that.
And bombs left in spawn for now. Astralis, so they're lining up the A smokes, but...
A fake?
Yeah, it should be. Should just pick up the bomb the way around.
Which is dangerous to do without mid presence, because if someone is pushing up mid, they can just tell that a fake is coming in. But right now it seems like Godsent doesn't have anyone pushed up.
So it's not going to be the A fake, it's going to be kind of like the pistol round with a little bit more firepower to it, essentially. Same smokes going up, yeah, the double deep smokes towards the jungle side and on stairs, and it's a slightly more tucked-in version with the forcing Freddy to play by the tri-box where the Molotov should be forcing him out, but actually it doesn't. It just unleashes Twist more than anything. Device is still going to go down. Glaive and Zipnik's the only 2 standing, and Schneider's come into the battle, and really Astralis just, you know, they tried it, they gave it a good go. They just didn't have quite everything going the right way.
I think this is Godsent doing their homework, at least to an extent. They saw how Astralis likes to play Mirage in Malmö. It's an execute-heavy style, a lot of set executes like this with different variances. You know, this is the one where they have 2 players underpass. They have one where Dupree jumps on stairs and then they pop flash for him. They have one where they push CT. So you could see both players in connector actually not even watching the A-bomb side. They were just focused on mid. If someone is going to actually lurk from that area, and they managed to get both players, and after that you just wait for the smokes and you go for the retake. So now it's where it gets a little bit interesting in a sense where we might be able to see how Astralis deals with a double op setup. That's what Godsent has at the moment, and the way you should go about it is an execute heavy playstyle, right? Because with the ops you want to force them in an awkward position with your utility. Once you take the bomb site, it's going to be difficult for them to retake with the AWPs, but
this is winnable.
This is winnable.
There's a plant, and Zipnik's... Well, he's got an AWP somehow, and he's got given a freebie. Freddy B just feeds the machine and is now down to Schneider. 50 HP, and Zipnik's has a good idea, but he doesn't have the shot off. Goes in for something a little quicker than maybe he could handle.
That's actually a mistake from Freddy B. It doesn't look like a major one, but you know, you need to be aware of the timings, of the possibilities. You cannot take any reckless risks like that. You need to be aware. There was an offer there. He might have picked it up. He has to go probably for an aggressive play because, you know, he's ecoing. He has to do something risky, and you just walk into that. You have to shoulder pick that. You have to bait it out, or at least try and make him miss. That was too easy.
Yeah.
So let's see what Astralis decides to do now. They have an AWP on device. Seems like they're just going for the default mid take early on. 1-3-1 setup. Fairly standard. But you need to use a lot of utility here. You know, or you can guess that they have double op and they're going to try to find a pick early on.
Yeah, Dupree's the one tendering over by B, but there's an AWP watching it, so if he goes too far, he'll be the one to get picked up. They are out at the top of middle. I'm pretty sure they've still got at least one player with a smoke there, so they could put it towards window, could go to connector, could go short. They still got opportunities, they still have the Molotovs. Device trying to work them in towards maybe connector. He's trying to watch short, allow them opportune moments. There's one of the smokes going in quite close towards connector, deeper side of things, so it does limit vision. If they want to get any sort of spot, got to commit to it. And Astralis just holding for now.
It seems that they go for the option to have their own opper win the duels and put him in a position to get those kills. Doesn't happen so far, but Glaive did find Disco Doppler.
Yeah, Twist has a chance to really do some damage, though. I don't know if they can get the timing right to really pressure him, but now we're going to see Glaive's just walking up as close as he can get, and yeah, very much alone there. Twist able to come into his own, and now it's Dupree and Device, the D&D combo, trying to do what they can, but limited chance on this as well. Yeah, Twist has found his mojo in this round, it seems. 3 kills already, and Device up on ramp. No bomb plant to try and work with. 20 seconds left, and Twist. Why not get a 4th?
Not really the ideal way, perhaps, to go about this round, but maybe Astralis wanted to give Device a go at finding either Twist or Dennis and getting an early advantage. But usually what they like to do is, you know, an execute-heavy style, force the ops out of position, plant the bomb, we get a positional advantage for the after-plant situation and close out the round, which is great. You don't want to give the opportunity for those ops to single out players, find duels, right? But another force buy round for Astralis. I'm not really sure why they're doing this, to be honest. It's like you only need 1 round. Why not make it a very good one?
It does feel as though they're getting, not necessarily desperate, but considering the style they've been bringing to this point, it does feel like it's a little out of character. But they're up short as well. They've got a player just running up towards ladder, and that's pretty big. They just need to win out on the side, which sounds pretty easy when I say it like that, but it's not. No one was actively watching it, though. They were in kitchen. Oh, Dupree tries to leap in to the loving arms of Dennis, and he just bangs out the shot. Now Glaive's burning alive, has to make a move. Probably giving up the position, but the bomb is planted. That's something, and Device finds Disco Doppelin. There's a chance. It's a slim one. Kiebi and Zipnix having to do all the damage now. Flash him from short. Could catch Kiebi off if he plays too close, but they're still in a decent enough position. But they're outnumbered. They're outgunned. And they are just holding on. Attention being drawn towards the bench. But yeah, Zipnix gets outdone there. It's all on Kiebi, who had a blistering first bit of an impression into this matchup, but cannot make it count this round. Does get found by Schneider. And well, it's going to be 8-15. This is getting a little close.
And you can see how Godsent are aware that they need to take gambles themselves. They only had Dennis on that bomb site, and he was all the way in kitchen with the AWP. So great awareness from Godsent in that round, that Glaive was in ladder. They used 2 incendiaries to flush him out. Managed to get a kill on him. And after that, just good trades coming into the retake. So Astralis with another. I mean, at this point, the loss bonus is so big, and they got the bomb plat that it's actually, you know, a good enough buy. Glaive dropping the AWP for Device. They have 5 smokes, 2 mollies, and a decent amount of flashes as well. But at this point, you just want to get to the bomb site, plant the bomb, and then have Device in a position where he can really be effective in that after plant situation, right?
Well, we're seeing the same middle smokes going out from Astralis, at least for now. I'm not sure if they can do the 1-3-1 again. It does seem as though that is the case. Maybe a couple of adjustments later into this one. Last time, Device didn't really get that early play that we were expecting, maybe hoping for, but this time eyeing up towards Connector. Zipnix peering through a little bit of a gap in that smoke, but just on the other side is, I'm pretty sure, Freddy B. So, yeah, he knows that there's something coming his way. He's doing really well towards A for now. He's been relatively consistent at denying any sort of walkouts or anything of the such, but the play does come through. This is faster from Astralis, working towards middle, getting a couple more players there, pulling Dupree over and Kiebi from that B side of things. Smoke towards window. They could go for a little bit of a boost here if Kiebi fancies it, but works his way around, and they are eyeing up mid. Schneider's just up there towards Ladderum as well, so again, once these smokes go, this could be a bit of a blink and miss it one.
Zipex has a smoke. He should probably use it for jungle if he can throw it. That would allow his teammates from Connector an easier way to the side.
Really nice move from Freddy B then to push his way through from, I think that was Palace he worked his way around now. Actually, Zimnix does win out towards A. That's 1 bonus, but there's still a player behind them. Dupree's going to find Schneider on short, and now Disco Doppelin strikes from jungle, but Dupree is having none of it. He wants this game over with. Going to find so much work for himself. Good flash as well. Catches one on short, makes the call, but he wants the kill. Maybe overextending and just leaving 1 man alive. It's all on Zipnix here. No bomb plant to work with either. He's got to hunt out one of these kills, and he's done it. Now down to the 1v1. Surely knows where Dennis is or where he was, but the bomb could be awkward. Now already pushing through. The spray's not there. Dennis holds on for now. Godsent are good for another round.
And you can see Godsent taking risks, finding gaps in Astralis' default. This time it was Freddy B through apartments, flanking, getting that kill. Even though, again, a small mistake from him towards that 2v1, making a lot of noise towards ramp, and Zipex, that was winnable for him after he got it to a 1v1. So finally Astralis go for an eco. I mean, it's a half buy, but they have a decent amount of money left in the bank, meaning their next round is going to be a proper buy with everything they want, up on device if they want it, in all the utility for everyone else. Twist with the early aggressive peek towards underpass, finds the kill onto Kirby and makes it a 5v4.
I'm really impressed with Godsent going back into this, considering how like drastic that first half was. Just have them, you know.
Yeah, the first half was pretty terrible, and now they're just taking, you know, they need to take risks. If they're going to come back in this game, they have to take a lot of risks, and so far they're making the right ones.
Oof. Disco Doppler finding a shot. Dupree is on a bit of a tear. Some of these shots he's hitting are pretty tasty. But I keep saying there shouldn't be much coming from this. But again, if you're finding little bits of room to work with, then maybe you can bring something out of this. But a couple of missed smokes here and there might open up opportunity for these guys just to put this round to bed. Again, though, Disco Doppler going hunting at this point, it worries me. He's kept it in check, he's fine, but it just makes me a little unnerved when they go forward against these little deagles. And Dupree, not again. The tag towards Dennis is big, and the kill's even better. But he rushes forwards for the AWP, and he makes a mistake. He gives a chance over, and that's all they need. But it's Device in the 1v1. Surely this isn't how you're going to close out the game, is it? Godsent have brought this back from the brink. And now Device can ruin it all. 20 seconds.
Cheeky.
And he's off. He's got the A plant. He knows he's going to get it. And, well, Freddy B's a mile away. He's not going to take that gamble quickly, is he? So Device gets time for the off plant. Now, Device doesn't know how much time he has, so he's going to have to take an educated bit of a gamble, bit of a risk, and just try and position himself somewhere. Freddy B does have a kit, and he's got a chance.
Also very difficult for Device with just a deagle, right? If he doesn't get that first shot, he's probably not going to get another chance, but finds the AWP. Freddy B again making so much noise.
Freddy, what have you done? You've given it all away. You give him the whole picture, and of course, he'll get it done. He didn't even need the AWP in the end, but it feels a bit of a letdown to almost finish this map on that sort of note. It was looking like maybe a bit of a comeback there was really coming through for Godsent, but gets stopped in its tracks. And, well, I guess that's all she wrote about that one.
I mean, they had a couple of good reads in the second half, but that first half was abysmal. It's not just the fact that they lost a 13-2 scoreline, it's also they weren't close in a number of those rounds. The calls weren't great, but let's just say still early days for Godsent.
Yeah, but it's not over yet. Coming up next will be Overpass. Before we get there, we'll be heading to a break, and we'll hear from the desk after that.